I feel somewhat hesitant to share because our story isn't as severe as most that you hear on here. I think our story is a little bit unique in that we have 2 little boys, but our oldest is 6. I have some Asperger's autism in my family. My sister's 2 sons are now almost in their 20s, Asperger's, and lots of seizure disorders in the family, my sister's kids. So when we got pregnant with our first child, I was very nervous, not knowing, what was wrong in my genes, what was causing these things, made us question a lot of things. So we decided at that point to not vaccinate. We were just going to delay. I had done a lot of research. That's all our plan was, delay. And Bobby just brought up talking to Del. Our first pediatrician, our son was 9 months, perfectly healthy. We receive a letter in the mail. Due to philosophical differences, we will no longer see you in this office. This was 6 years ago. And all we wanted to do was delay.
Yeah, delayed immunization. We're going to wait to 2 or 3 and then start in. And there were things that I was against, like chicken pox. I'm like, if my kid gets chicken pox, everybody gets chicken pox. I'm not worried about it. They don't need those. But we were going to delay the immunization and start in later. And the physician was like, yeah, tough. You're out of my office. So.
Well, actually, he did you a favor. You don't want to be with him.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, in retrospect, for sure. So fast forward, we originally planned to do it at 2 years. We ended up having a baby when he was 2, so it got delayed to he was 3. We started taking him, we decided we would do vaccines one at a time, separated by a couple months each. We were only going to do, at that point we wanted to do polio.
And he's developed completely normally up to this time.
Yes, completely. Matter of fact, never anything he had, like roseola or whatever, 2 days over. Maximum 2 days of illness, and then done.
And he had what was the diarrhea one that they vaccinate for? Rotavirus.
Rotavirus.
2 days.
2 days, back to normal.
No big deal. No antibiotics. He had never been sick with anything. No ear infections. Nothing. So DTaP was one of the ones that we wanted to do. So he had probably had 3 vaccinations separated by a few months. Went in for a DTaP within a week, completely sick, coughing at night to the point where we had to take him outside. Couldn't get him to stop breathing or to start breathing. Take him to the doctor. They test him for strep. Sent him to allergy specialists. They test him for asthma. Now all of a sudden he has severe chronic asthma, severe allergies, environmental allergies, allergic to everything in the air. Everything sets him off. And in that moment, had no connection to the vaccine because we were so busy taking care of him. We stopped he wasn't being vaccinated at that point anymore because we were just trying to take care of him. He was every night coughing fits, calling paramedics. The asthma medication wasn't doing him any good. He was on antibiotics for 2 months straight, trying to get rid of whatever throat infection he had.
And that was really telling, was that we followed the doctor's regimen. They said, okay, give him this inhaler and give him this, these items, steroids, and so we followed exactly what they wanted. And there were times where we gave him the inhaler and it didn't work.
It made him worse.
Yeah, he just kept coughing and coughing. There was nothing that was calming him down, and so I was like, what are we going to do next? Because whatever the doctor prescribed wasn't working for him. And we tried for months. For months, we tried to stay on the doctor's schedule to make him better.
So it got up to, I think he had 8 prescriptions at one time. 2 different nose inhalers. He had prednisone. They had him on antibiotics. Just never ending, and still we were just on autopilot, not looking at the vaccination, not realizing that's what did it, until we were in a conversation with somebody and I thought, I need to look back at the records. I looked back at the records, DTaP shot. 1 week later, we have him into the doctor's office. There was 20 office visits within the 2-month period after that. Before that, the only time he had ever been to the pediatrician's office was for the well-check visits. So at that point, I remember just sitting on my bed, hysterically crying and thinking, I cannot believe this happened. I knew, I was worried, I knew in my gut that there was something wrong with these things. I foolishly thought waiting until he was a little bit older that he would be able to deal with whatever might cause his body a reaction. Absolutely wrong. Didn't do any good. At that point, after a few months of trying, with regular doctors' prescriptions, we went to a naturopath. She gave us some ideas, homeopathic remedies that she suggested, fish oil, tree bark that's in some natural supplement. Within a month, he was we were able to sleep through most nights, and now it took him about a year. The pediatrician that he has now says that he had basically reactive airway distress disease from the DTaP shot, which basically presents itself like severe asthma. But now, 2 years later, we're exactly 2 years out from that last shot, and he's almost completely healed.
Yeah, the naturopath, it was amazing because she took in all the information and said, he doesn't have asthma, he has inflammation issues. And so she started prescribing things, and realistically, within a couple of days, they started working. And we were giving him all these inhalers that were not doing anything. As a matter of fact, we had to give him 2 inhalers back to back, and they didn't work. So we had to call the paramedics to come out and check him out. And luckily, the night air for some reason made him feel better. So we had him outside. By the time the paramedics came, he was doing okay. But they weren't working, and so we went to the naturopath. And I'm sure we're probably the worst case scenario for some of these, pharmaceutical companies where we delayed immunization. The kid was fine, gets a shot, reacts. Now we're taking homeopathic remedies that are working by far better than the prescribed ones, which actually weren't working at all.
Well, we know exactly which one it was. We know exactly which one it was. He had one vaccination at that moment, and within a week, completely sick.
DTaP is the one that I hear more than ever, and it's the one with the biggest death.
Yeah.
And I took a DTaP shot. It was at Professor's, right? DTaP. I took a DTaP shot, the adult one, and I've never been more sick for 18 months. And I did it just because to kind of actually for the doctor, because the doctor's like, your kid needs a shot. I'm like, I'll take the shot, and give me the shot. And man, I was sick for 18 months. I normally get 2 colds a year. I probably had 6 colds that year, or whatever was like a cold.
So I just,
Your story is very important. You have no idea how important.
We felt like, I remember taking him to the doctor's office, and you share a story. I know how emotional it was for you. I remember taking him to the office, and for years, my mom, was on my back. You need to be worried. She, for her thing was tetanus. What if he gets tetanus? And I remember putting him up on the table, just feeling like I was doing what I was supposed to do. People tell you you're supposed to do this thing. So, okay, here's my child. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And for what? At this point, he's getting a lot better. But for so long, the shot was what ruined him. It destroyed his immunity. He had been so healthy, and then he was catching every little thing. We're sending him to preschool. He's sick every week, catching everything. The vaccination is what made him sick and ruined his immune system. And we have a younger son now. He just turned 4. He's never been vaccinated. He will never be vaccinated. He's perfectly healthy.
He just gets sick.
He's never had anything wrong with him. No antibiotics, nothing.
Yeah, his brother would come home sick from school, but he's not getting sick. And what it was is the immune system of the older child was broken down, and the younger one was fine, and with no immunizations at all, but by far healthier.
So I will fight this until the end. I feel like you guys have done such a great thing for this fight. We've been in this fight for, our oldest is 6 now. We were in it before that. Now it's finally getting traction. This is it. If we don't stop this, just looking around, I'm a teacher. Well, I have my credential. I worked in the schools for a long time. Just looking at all the kids that are sick with so many different things, it's so obvious that we're doing this to ourselves. This isn't natural. Nothing about this is natural.
I'm going to put your boy's name on that.